I'm from Kerry in Ireland, and they had set up a school of music there, and we were sent for music theory lessons and a little bit of recorder and just to give you a general knowledge. And once completely out of the blue, the teacher came in and said, "What would you like to play next year?" And sort of wanted a decision there and then, really. So how old was I? 7. I had some vague recollection of my mother saying it would be nice if we played the flute months before that. So
I played the recorder, the piano, and then the violin, and I hated the violin. I was terrible at it, and I remember begging my mum and dad to let me give it up. And then when I went to secondary school, and there was an oboe in the cupboard, and I wasn't interested in the clarinet that was in the cupboard, or the flute, I'm afraid, Cormac. There was something about the oboe, and I don't know. I don't think you choose the instrument. I think the instrument chooses you, so the oboe chose me, really. I never intended to become a professional musician at all. I was supposed to be doing French at university, but I'd always loved playing music. I was lucky enough to have a brilliant primary school teacher who started me on the recorder, and it carried on from then. And then when I was in the 6th form, my piano teacher said to me I had to audition on piano to go to music college to make her happy. So that's what I did. But I didn't tell her I changed to oboe when I got there, and I had a brilliant time during the audition, and I thought, let's change course. So I started playing the oboe.
I think I just enjoyed playing, and then as you go along, most of us have come through youth orchestras of some description or another, so you enjoy playing yourself, and then I played in the orchestra for the School of Music, and then into the Irish Youth Orchestra. So you just enjoy it more and more, and then you learn to, you're suddenly playing in an orchestra and you make good friends in youth orchestras and things, and you have the experience of playing together, and it just it grows from there, really.
Well, to play the oboe, you have to be quite a sturdy build physically, I think. I don't think you can start on the oboe as young as you can on a lot of the other instruments. You have to. It's a very difficult instrument to play. It's very strenuous. It's very tiring. So it's something that you might start a bit later. You obviously have to have a good set of teeth, or you can't have wobbly teeth. You can't start children on the oboe before they get their proper teeth. So, yeah.
We actually have opposite problems, oboes and flutes. The oboes have too much air and have to retain an awful lot of air because they can't get rid of it quickly enough because they're blowing into a very small hole. On the flute, half the air you blow doesn't even go into the instrument. So it's a different sort of form of breath control. Oboes have to deal with a lot of pressure and dealing with the pressure from holding the air for that long. We, on the other hand, lose it all very quickly. So you have to learn how to control when you're blowing. You need to control the airflow so that you don't lose it too quickly.
What I like about playing Mahler 4 in particular is that it's the piece of music that, for me, is the most like chamber music. So I play second oboe in the orchestra, and sometimes that means I don't have very much to do. But when I do play, it can be terrifying because you sit and do nothing for a while, and then you have to pull out some really difficult bottom notes, which are really hard on the oboe. The thing about Mahler 4 is there's quite a lot for the second oboe to do, and it's very picky music. There are lots of tiny little markings in it, which makes it really challenging to play, even if you've only got a little bit to play. To get it right, there's a lot involved in that, and Vasily can hear everything, can't he?
Yes, he certainly can.
So he doesn't let you get away with anything. So it's fun, and if you're a really picky person like I am and really particular about everything, there's quite a lot of enjoyment to get out of getting Mahler 4 right.
Mahler for the flute is a bit funny. Actually, as Ruth alluded to in the 4th, it's a lot smaller scale and it's a lot more chamber music, and actually the flute is probably more noticeable in the 4th than it is in the 5th. Mahler parts for the flute tend to be quite tricky. A lot of the sort of detailed markings that you have to do and are sometimes very tricky to do because a lot of it's written in a sort of awkward register. A lot of it's in the middle register for us, which is very difficult to play as powerfully as you'd like. So you really have to work very hard to project and make a decent sound in the register he writes.
I tend to come from the point of view that the music speaks for everything, but Vasily actually is very good about putting things into context and explaining, where they were up to in their personal lives. And it does help, to be fair. It does help having insight. It's just that I don't tend to find it out for myself.
To be honest, there isn't really time for us to do the amount of research. We're doing 3 concerts this week. We've just come back from a tour of China and a recording session, and then another concert straight away afterwards. So it's the thing, a lot of orchestras in this country particularly don't have that much time to get into things. You have to be very quick in how you do things. So really, it's all, especially in Mahler, actually, it's all written in the part. It's very, very detailed. Every little nuance is written out for you. So you do it from that, and then, as Ruth said, you get some of the backstory from the conductor a lot of the time. I can't speak for him, but I think there's been learning on both sides. I think coming from the sort of Russian school of training and things, it's very, very demanding and very, very hard over there. So he's very demanding, I think, in the right way, and it sort of forced us to up our game pretty quickly, because he, as Ruth said earlier, he doesn't miss much, and you have to be on the ball. And but I think also he learned how we operate as well, and so he's adapted a little bit to us as well. So I think it's come together very well. We're very, very lucky to do what we do, and I don't think anybody thinks otherwise. But you'd be amazed at the number of times you get into a taxi, and when you say when they ask you what you do, and you say you work at the Phil, they say, "Oh, what do you do during the day?" And this is us in the middle of the day, having just finished a pretty intense 3-hour rehearsal, and with another one to come. And
a lot of people think that when you come on stage, basically that's all you do. They don't understand the amount of time that goes into the rehearsal and the amount of notes you have to play. I remember when I joined the orchestra, the sheer amount of repertoire that I was expected to just know and turn up and play note perfect at the beginning of the rehearsals, not at the concert, at the beginning of rehearsals. There are so many notes that you have to be able to play. Like Cormac said, 3 programs this week, or it's a lot of music. We're immersed in it, aren't we, from morning till night. It's a great job. It is. It's a great job.